Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Elan's Matchup Maximizer, a podcast presented by Keeping Karlsson, where I, Elan Dubrowski, take a look at next week's NHL schedule, try to figure out who are the players and teams we need to be targeting in order to have the edge in our head-to-head matchups. We're looking for volume from players who will do something. Generally, we're looking for volume on the non-busy days. No point streaming someone in for a day where you can't fit him into your lineup. But guess what? Next week, January 19th to 25th, a strangely balanced week. There's not really any busy days, and there's also not any like super light days. We've got 20 teams playing Monday, 16 Tuesday, 12 Wednesday, 16 Thursday, 16 Friday, 18 Saturday, and 12 Sunday. You might be able to fit someone in on every single day of the week. Monday is the busiest day, 20 games. By the way, early start for some games on Monday, so make sure to set your lineups early. I'm recording this, by the way, on Sunday at around 4 p.m., so probably it'll be released around 5 p.m. Eastern time. Sorry for the late release. This is a bit of, unconventional episode. I actually got Jeremy Versillo from Short Shifts to do Matchup Maximizer this week, and he recorded an episode. It was great. Lots of great details, and he also took some detailed notes. Unfortunately, there were some technical issues with the audio quality, so we weren't able to release that, but I'm going to do my best to be a proxy for Jeremy. I've got his notes in front of me, and I'm going to try to share all the wisdom that Jeremy had for us. That's the reason for the late episode, but hopefully it'll still be in time for you to come up with your moves for next week. Hopefully you're all doing well, by the way. This is week 16 coming up. If you're in the Keeping Karlsson Ultimate Patron Fantasy League, newsflash, we've got 5 more weeks, like fantasy weeks, before the playoffs. So it's getting down to the wire. Obviously, there's going to be that big, long break for the Olympics in there. It's going to be more than 5 weeks of real time, but 5 more matchups, I guess is the way to say it, to determine whether you're in or out of the playoffs. Of course, if you make the relegation playoffs or the consolation playoffs, there still are big promotion and relegation consequences. If you're in the cupfuls, you need to be fighting up until Yahoo tells you that you're done to try to, earn the highest tier that you can for next season. But anyways, that's the cupful. Let's focus on the schedule and the players. I guess the big thing here, the strategy, since there's not really any light days, of course, first set your lineup, make sure you know what days you actually have room for people on, but assuming you can fit people any day, then it just becomes you're going for volume, right? You're going for 4 games. It's best if you can get those 4 games, let's say, before Sunday. Like, I like a solid Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then you have that roster spot open to switch to someone on a Sunday. I like that. Sounds like Minnesota goes Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I should say. Washington, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So that would be something to target. I think the other big thing to keep in mind here is if you've got a team playing 2 times, which are Utah and LA, you got to think twice about if you're keeping the players on those teams. Because again, like I said, we're down to the wire here. Every matchup might be really critical. You don't want to give up a matchup just because you're holding a mid player, hoping that they'll help you down the road if they're not helping you this week, not enough volume. I guess if let's look at those teams really quickly, right? So Utah, you're holding Vejmelka, Genther, Schmaltz, Keller, Cooley. Cooley's in your IR, Sergachev. I think the interesting choices will come down to Peterka and maybe even Sean Durzi if you still have him. I think at this point you can let Durzi go. He's not on the top power play. I know that Durzi had a little bit of a run at some point, but I think he's an easy drop if you've been running him. He's now pointless in 4 games. Peterka is interesting. He's pointless in 2 now. He has taken like 3 shots in each of the last couple of games, but he's on the top power play. But at even strength, Peterka's on the line with Hayton and Daniil Boot. They've split him from Genther, who's been playing with McBain and Carconi. I don't know. Like, Peterka just seems like not a big game breaker right now. So maybe a tough drop as someone that you spent some draft capital on, but I think that's going to be a decision that you may need to consider. Then over on the LA Kings, who, like I said, also play a couple times, you're holding Kempe, you're holding Kemper, you're holding Fiala. After that, I mean, they talked about it on Short Shifts on Thursday. I don't know. You're thinking about your Laferriere, Byfield. Brant Clark has been good, but are you holding him? I guess like top power play defensemen are hard to come by, so I'd probably hold Clark unless you're in a super shallow league. Byfield's started to get going. It would be tough for... I mean, I did drop him, and now I kind of regret it a few weeks back, so at this point, if I had... maybe I'm biased now. I'm like, no, you should hold Byfield. You don't want to have the regret like me. But again, you know what? I added Pavel Zacha and Matty Beniers this past week out of free agency in Cupful. They've both been doing like, just, even though Byfield's been doing pretty okay, like so have those guys. And I got them for free. So maybe I shouldn't feel too bad about dropping Byfield. I guess we'll see how things progress, but it's going to be a tough hold for next week for sure. But let's look not at the drops. Let's look at the teams we should be targeting. Half the league plays 4 times. We're going to touch on all 16 of them here. I'm looking at Jeremy's notes and we're going to try to do it in under 30 minutes. Let's give her. We can start with the Anaheim Ducks playing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday against the Rangers, Seattle, Calgary, also Colorado in there. But yeah, some teams that definitely they should be able to score some goals against if the Ducks can get going. I think one player that might be available to you, Chris Kreider, 63% rostered in Cupful. He was sick Friday, will probably be back Monday. The Ducks are hurting a little bit currently. So like Troy Terry is still out. Like I think that there is a chance that Kreider could get going. So he may be a guy that, especially if you can like stash him. Well, I guess what's the point if you're going to play him on Monday? But if you still have some Sunday moves left, maybe you can stash him, get a Sunday savior, and then still get Kreider for Monday. I guess it's getting a little bit late for that. Radko Gudas, 41% rostered in Cupful. That's a solid peripheral floor from a defenseman. If you're in a shallower league, at this point, Beckett Seneke, it's like, how could you not want Beckett Seneke? He's only 36% rostered on Yahoo. Seems to be the main Duck getting points every single game. Had another great assist in overtime yesterday. He's a no-brainer, not only for next week, but to hold long term. Mikhail Granlund, only 23% rostered on Yahoo. He scored yesterday. He's been pretty good, probably with all these injuries. You know, you're getting a bigger role. 24 and a half minutes for Mikhail Granlund yesterday in the win against the Kings. So I think those are your options. But yeah, for Cupful, I think Chris Kreider is the one that might be available that could be of interest with the schedule against teams that they may be able to score some goals against. We can go to the Buffalo Sabres now, who play Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You know what I said? I like that. They're ending the week on a Saturday, so you can even still move on. You're not getting Darlene, Tage, Tuck. We're going to talk about a bunch of Sabres on hot streaks right now. At this point, you're probably not getting Matthias Samuelsson in most leagues. 33% rostered in Yahoo for Josh Doan. I still like Josh Doan, though I do see that the Sabres have run some interesting line combinations today with Josh Norris out yet again. So now we have Thompson with Tuck and Benson, and then Doan with Ostlund and Helenius. So not great for Josh Doan to be away from Tage, but I don't know, still top power play. So maybe he can still do something there. In terms of players that may be available to you in the Cupful, Zach Benson, 80% rostered in Cupful. He's got points in 4 of his last 5 games. Ryan McLeod is someone I definitely plan to bring up on the Mega Show. I'm not sure how he's doing it, but he had another multi-point game yesterday in the 5-4 loss to Minnesota. It's been a huge run for Ryan McLeod. According to these new lines the Sabres ran today, he was centering a line with Zucker and Quinn, which isn't too bad at all. So I think at this point, with a good schedule and a hot streak, why not go Ryan McLeod? And then also, yeah, Jack Quinn, 45% rostered in Cupful. 5 points in his last 5 games. Not shooting too much, but definitely an option there if you want to grab someone on the Sabres. Calgary Flames go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. The hottest Calgary Flame right now is someone who I think I mentioned on this podcast, or at least on the main show a couple of weeks ago. Mikael Backlund continues to have a really good run. He finally went pointless against the Islanders, but before that he had points in 3 straight games, 2 of them multi-point games. So could be fun to try to ride the Backlund train if you can. Still only 73% rostered in Cupful. Connor Zary has been on the top line with Kadri. Zari's on a pretty nice hot streak at the moment. Another assist yesterday in the 4-2 win over the Islanders. That extended his point streak to 5 games. He had a 7-shot game in there. Generally, it's 1 or 2 shots, but Zari's widely available in a lot of leagues. Also getting a lot of power play time with the Flames running 2 even power plays lately, so he could be somewhat of interest. Martin Pospisil, if you're in a super deep league, especially if you count hits, he's on a conditioning load, could be coming back soon. Also keep an eye on defense. The Rasmus Andersson talks are heating up. Maybe a chance for Zane Parekh to come back into the lineup, maybe get a power play shot. We saw it before and he didn't do much, but maybe a little more experience with the World Juniors is going to help him break through a little bit. Over on Chicago, they go Monday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Pretty tough matchups against Winnipeg, Carolina, Tampa, and Florida. So we'll see how well they can do. Once again, I'm reading Jeremy's notes here, so I don't want to try to sound like I'm super smart realizing this. He had written down their pretty tough matchups, and I'm looking to see, yeah, I concur. Though if you look at Chicago, who could you potentially get? I mean, Artem Levshinov has continued to stick on the top power play there. He is doing not so great. pointless in his last 3 games, only 4 points in his last 10. But hey, Bedard is back. Maybe Bedard gets going. And by the way, same for Andre Burakovsky, only 71% rostered in Cupful. I just saw him added in my Cupful division today. Someone I was considering to grab on Monday if he was still around. He's the top line with Bedard, top power play. So if Bedard gets going, Burakovsky probably goes along with him. So that could be a pretty good stream. Colorado plays Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So you can get a goalie. If you can get a goalie, then you're going to get 2 games played from that goalie most likely. So apparently Wedgwood is available in at least one Cupful division. So grab him because it might be a high fantasy points game because Colorado generally wins like every single one of their games. There's not really anyone too interesting that's likely available to you, like Valeri Nichushkin, who continues to struggle. He did have an assist in the last game for what it's worth, but he's still 61% rostered on Yahoo. Apparently he's available in one Cupful division, according to Jeremy's notes. So yeah, I mean, if you can get Nichushkin for a good schedule, then why not? Though we will discuss him, I think, on the Mega Show tonight and whether he's going to be able to bounce back. I think we actually had that discussion already last week, and he's still continued to struggle. So maybe we don't need to even have that conversation again. I don't know who else you would grab. I guess like Brent Burns continues to once in a while pick up points. He had an assist yesterday. He had that 2-goal game earlier in the week against Columbus. Josh Manson had that huge 2-goal, 2-assist game. Since then, he's slowed down, but you never know. He's done it once. Maybe he could do it again at some point. Yeah, not too many likely options available for you. It's more like you're just kicking yourself like me that you didn't grab Brock Nelson back when you had the chance a couple months ago. Florida Panthers go Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. The big thing with Florida is like Marchand and Matthew Tkachuk are likely both back soon. That's what the coach keeps saying. When they're like the lines are going to be totally different. Who knows? All I know is there's a few Panthers that are struggling right now, but maybe this big boost will help them. Like you've got Eetu Luostarinen, who's actually been in a good spot playing with Reinhardt at even strength, still struggling to get too many points. But I wouldn't be surprised if Luostarinen in 4 games could potentially get a couple, maybe even 3 points. So that could be a stream, and I'd love to see how those lines shake out with him. You've got Uvis Belinskis, who's now got points in 3 straight games, even though I scoffed at him on the last Mega Show. So yeah, I mean, look, if he sticks on the top power play with Seth Jones out, last season Belinski's had top power play and didn't do much with it. Seems like he's doing a bit better this time around. So yeah, why not? If you need D, get Uvis Belinski's. I'll say it, though no guarantees. I wouldn't be surprised if he does absolutely nothing for you. So just but Brian will be mad at me if I don't at least say that. Let's take a break. We got a lot more teams to go through, but we're over 10 minutes in here. You're listening to Matchup Maximizer. Every yard, every sack, every interception, and every touchdown with Pick 6, DraftKings' newest game. Every snap can turn into big-time payout. This isn't just watching the game. This is playing to win. Here's how it works. Pick more or less on 2 or more player stats. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. It's that simple. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in Pick 6 credits with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. You know the game. Now make it pay. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play just $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus award is non-withdrawable. Pick 6 credits expire in 14 days. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
Cool. So next up, we got the Minnesota Wild who play 4 times: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You could always switch to someone else after. You probably will get a start from a goalie if Wallstead is out there because people aren't interested in having a timeshare goalie, and he just had a rough game. But he should get the starts against Toronto and Detroit on Monday and Thursday. could be tough opponents for sure, but he's a good goalie. We'll see if he can bounce back. Ryan Hartman, 33% rostered on in Cupful. He's been on the top power play lately, has points in 5 of his last 6 games. He's also someone that was just snapped up in my Cupful division, I guess late last night. But yeah, it's been Hartman, Kaprizov, Tarasenko, Zuccarello, and Quinn Hughes on PP1. So why not take a shot at Hartman, who's also been playing with Kaprizov at even strength? Ooh, maybe I should have grabbed that guy. Oh well, you should get him. I think that's what he also a decent number of shots lately. A bit of a regret for me. So yeah, go get Ryan Hartman if you can. New Jersey goes Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, and there's some games against Calgary, Vancouver, and Seattle in there where maybe they could score some goals. If Jacob Markstrom has been dropped at this point, he's only rostered in 75% of a couple of divisions. You should get at least a couple games from Markstrom. Edmonton on Tuesday would be the only scary matchup. The others are completely winnable. As far as the forwards go, another dud yesterday for New Jersey, losing 4-1 to Carolina. Looks like in that game, Dawson Mercer was playing on a line with Hischier and Timo Meier, so Mercer's available in a lot of leagues. Maybe you give him a shot. I'm seeing Mercer also at one point was getting top power play time, but yeah, it looks like in that last game it was Hughes, Bratt, Hischier, and Grziuk along with Luke Hughes. Then the other power play actually had a lot of time themselves, the one with Meyer and Dougie Hamilton, and then Dawson Mercer was on there. So I don't know. Maybe Mercer is interesting. I don't know. New Jersey also might just continue to struggle scoring goals, I should say. Though against maybe Vancouver, it's like we just saw from Edmonton. It's maybe not as hard as it used to be or against most teams. Ottawa, there's a team that maybe you want to stream teams playing against Ottawa, actually, with the way their goaltending has been going. I can tell you right now, Ottawa's playing Columbus, Nashville, Carolina, and Vegas. So those might be teams to target for players just for those specific games against the Sens. But yeah, they're the only team that plays 4 times and not on Monday. So you can grab someone else and then switch to a Sen on Tuesday. Which one are you going to grab? I mean, Shane Pinto and Claude Giroux are available in a small number of leagues. They've been playing on a line with Ridley Gregg and doing like not too much. Actually, Ridley Gregg is the one who's been producing the most recently. He had 3 assists against the Rangers in that 8-4 win. 1 assist, so not nothing, in the 6-5 heartbreaking loss to Montreal yesterday. Of course, Fabian Zetterlund, we talk about him whenever we talk about the Sens. He's been playing with some good players in the last game with Batherson and Cousins. So it looks like maybe the line switched up a little bit as the Sens were trying to figure out a way to pull out that win. But maybe if Zetterlund is around, you can give him a shot. Do you go for Levi Merilainen? He's available in a couple divisions because he's blowing people up. He is the starter until Allmark is back. Allmark could be back. The Sens actually play, I believe, today. Let me just make sure I have this right. Yeah, they're playing at 5 o'clock. I wonder if we have an update here on who's the starting goalie today for the Sens. So I'm going to be looking in real time, going to gametweets.com/goalies. Probably James Reimer is going to play. We don't have an answer just yet. Okay, next up, we can go to the Pittsburgh Penguins, who play Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday against Seattle, Calgary, Vancouver. Those are included in those games. There's also an Edmonton in there. Stuart Skinner, only 90% rostered in a couple. He's been good. He's been getting a lot of wins lately. I think at this point, I would for sure take Skinner. She loves, I don't know, not as much. I don't like him that much. We've got guys that have kind of come down to earth in Mantha, Kindle, Brazeau. But still, we've seen them have big games in the past, so maybe you can look at them depending on the opponent and who else your options are. But yeah, the Penguins have been like rolling with a top line of Crosby, Raquel, Russ, which generally doesn't leave too much. Malkin is back. He's playing with Novak and Chinnikov, and then Brazeau with Kindle and Mantha. So yeah, not too much fun to go around there, especially now with Malkin back. He takes top power play, so no one especially exciting there. Chinnikov, by the way, 2% rostered in couples, who's available everywhere. 4 points in 8 games as a Penguin, shooting a little bit more. Maybe he's interesting. Maybe even you need to be in a deeper league. There's a lot of options this week, so maybe he's not for you. Seattle's going to play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Maybe it's a good chance to grab a goalie. Philip Grubauer just had a rough game on Saturday, unfortunately, but it was his 3rd game of the week last week, which was probably pretty unexpected to get 3 games out of 4 for a Seattle goalie. We'll see if that continues. Maybe Decord gets the Monday now. But if either of those goalies are available, you can probably get some goalie starts from either of those Seattle goalies, especially if you grab the person who gets confirmed for Monday against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Tolvanen and Beniers are both available, it looks like, in 2 couple leagues each. I would definitely be into Beniers at this point. Another nice game for him. Yesterday, a goal and an assist. Chandler Stevenson is back after missing a couple of games, has scored in each of his last couple of games, and is also getting top power play deployment with Eberle, McCann, Beniers, Vince Dunn. That seems like an actual top power play to me. I guess this other one, though, was Schwartz, Tolvanen, Kakko, Wright, and Brandon Montour still got a decent amount of time. But yeah, I think that Stevenson becomes pretty interesting. He's available in still like 35% of a couple divisions. So that's a guy you could potentially look at. Kaapo Kakko, 8 points in his last 10 games. In the last game, Kakko was playing on the line with Eberle and Beniers for at least some of it. Looks like there were some line switches throughout. We're getting a little confused about who else Kakko played with, but yeah, so that's a guy you can definitely consider, but I would take Beniers over him if you have the option for either. You go to Toronto, plays 4 times, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I saw that Stolars might come back. As someone with Joseph Woll, I wouldn't be happy if they're like a 3-headed monster, and then Woll only plays like 1 or 2 games, but I guess we'll see how that shakes out for the goalies. We'll talk about that, I guess, on the Mega Show. Bobby McMahon, 90% rostered at this point. He has been pretty solid, right? He's playing on a line with Matthews and Domi. Lately, the lines keep changing. I remember at one point, like Lewis, I was chatting in our short shifts chat, and he was saying, oh, this person who added McMahon, like they're clearly not paying attention to the lines. But before you know it, he's back with Austin Matthews, scored a goal yesterday in the win over Winnipeg. So I think at this point, I like McMahon has all these like big shot games, or at least once in a while throws hits. If he's in a good spot, I think McMahon is a really solid add. You've got Matthias Michelli, who I know Brian added and convinced me to add to start last week. After the Monday, Tuesday, I had seen enough. I moved on from Matthias Michelli. So, of course, then he got a couple of assists on Thursday. But back to his regular scheduled doing nothing on yesterday. I'm not a big fan. I don't think he'll do a lot. Could get some assists while he's on the top power play because he has held that spot. But I don't know. I'm not a believer personally. And don't feel bad. Don't worry. I won my week. So I'm okay to have dropped Michelli. I'm happy to not have him and to have Zaka, who I think I swapped him for, even though it didn't gain me any games. I'd rather have Zaka moving forward. Okay, the Vancouver Canucks, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. You've got Jake DeBrusk, 84% rostered in Cupful, 3.3 shots per game over his last 10. That's not including yesterday's embarrassing loss to the Oilers. What was the final score there? Yeah, 6-0. Only 2 shots in that game for Jake DeBrusk. But Jeremy's saying he's maybe a bit snake bitten, so maybe he'll be able to get going soon. Maybe this could be the week to get him. Brock Besser just continues to get dropped in a ton of leagues. Now down to 54% rostered. Finally scored his first goal in 23 games yesterday. Maybe that's the start of something. And maybe now Besser, with the monkey off his back, will start producing, and now's a good time to jump on and try to make the person who dropped him feel bad, though. Again, with the Canucks and how they're looking after that last game, though sometimes teams really bounce back. They're playing the Islanders. If they go against Sorokin on Monday, that's going to be a tough game to break that shutout streak. Then Washington, New Jersey, Pittsburgh. At least they're all home games for Vancouver. So we'll see if they can perform for their audience. Kane, Garland, Bouillon available all over, but they've been doing nothing. Hard to recommend Lankinen, even if he's going to get like 4 games. Very risky, but I guess 4 games from a goalie, even on a bad team, could be okay. So something to consider. Jeremy even wrote Linus Karlsson is 14% owned and getting power play one time sometimes. You'd have to be pretty desperate, I think, to be going that far and going for a bottom 6 guy on the Vancouver Canucks. Okay, Vegas, Monday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Jeremy Lauzon has been a hits machine, 63% rostered in Cupful. I know there was a stretch where he was also getting like enough other peripherals to get like over 3.5 couple points per game for a bunch of games in a row. There's still the risk that he'll just like not do that. I would expect the season average for Lauzon, but he's playing pretty big minutes paired with Theodore apparently, so that's good. Then I guess I've got Barbashev dropped in my Cupful division, so I guess I need to mention him. He's playing on the top line with Eichel. Like, what more do you need to say? Though he still doesn't get too many points. We've got like 3 assists in his last 6 games. So basically you're looking at an assist every second game. Not many other peripherals to show for it. Even the hits have dried up for Barbashev, so hard to expect too much from him. But hey, if you wait till Thursday and then grab like a Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and you fit all 3 games in 4 days from Barbashev, who's playing with Eichel, I think you can probably do a lot worse. I think that would be okay. The Washington Capitals, there's so many teams that play 4 times. Okay, we only got a couple left. Washington, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, including games against Calgary and Vancouver, which could be high-scoring games. Ethan Frank, 12% rostered, 4 goals in his last 4 games before yesterday, Let's see what his lines were yesterday. Jeremy wrote he was playing with Ovechkin in the last game. That was before, because he recorded this on Saturday before the night games. Ethan Frank yesterday was not playing with Ovechkin. Was playing with Nick Dowd and Ivan Moroshchenko. Ovechkin was playing with Beauvillier and Dylan Strome. And then you had protests with Michael and Leonard, though I saw today that there's a finally a decent chance that Tom Wilson will come back tomorrow based on like them sending someone down to the minors or something. So hopefully Tom Wilson's back because I have him. I'm sure a lot of people who have him are just hoping for that. I don't think I'd be adding Ethan Frank. I would wait and see how the lines look. I'm not even sure. Like if you can get like a Connor McMichael at this point, he's looking really good and seems to be a fixture in that top 6. I wonder who gets bumped out of Ovi, Beauvillier, Strome, McMichael, Protest, Leonard. You would think it would be Beauvillier just based on name value, but who knows how they want to even out those lines. Then Winnipeg, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. They start playing against Chicago and St. Louis. So if they can get St. Louis with Binnington, potentially they can score some goals in both of those games. You got Cole Perfetti, 47% rostered, has been getting going a little bit. Yesterday against Toronto, Perfetti was playing with Velarde and Jonathan Toews. And we did hear on Short Shifts how Jonathan Toews is actually starting to do a few little things. Perfetti, for his part, not as hot as Jonathan Toews was, but he did have 2 straight 2-assist games and a 1-assist game. But yeah, now it's back to 2 straight games without a point for Cole Perfetti, without top power play. I don't know. I'm not like super interested, to be honest. Even like Jonathan Toews, I'm not crazy interested in, but I do like that Toews has been on the top power play with Connor, Scheifele, Velarde, and Josh Morrissey. So I think Toews would be the obvious stream from Winnipeg if you want to go in that direction. Finally went pointless against Toronto. Still 5 points in those last 5 games. Pretty sweet. Doesn't shoot a lot, but for this 1 week, like these matchups, this deployment, it's worth grabbing. Okay, that was a whirlwind. We went through a ton of names. Hopefully you found this useful. Thanks so much to Jeremy for this detailed list of notes. Let us know. Tag Jeremy and or myself in the Matchup Maximizer channel on the Keeping Karlsson Discord to let us know who you ended up streaming for next week. I still have 1 move left, so I'll let you know also when I decide what I want to do with it. The thing is, I do have Tom Wilson in IR, and actually I have Troy Terry in IR, so maybe it's not even worth it to stream someone. Maybe I'll just stash someone. Oh, maybe I can stash a Chris Kreider. Though, man, now I'm giving away my strategy here. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I also don't even know who I'm going to drop, which is the other thing, which I did talk about on the last Patreon cast. Like sometimes you get so excited to stream that then you like, well, I have to drop someone, and then you figure who's my worst person to drop. It might just turn out that, especially in a week like this, there's really no one to drop. Like I kind of like the majority of my players, and the guys who are the lowest end options I'll play 4 times next week. So is it really that much of an advantage? Like I have Philip Hronek, who's been cold, but he plays Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Like maybe I should just hold for at least a Monday, Wednesday, and then reassess for the second half of the week, see who gets dropped when other people make their streams. That's also another thing. It's like you should be careful not to drop someone you're going to regret, but also your opponents. And like I said, with Utah, maybe like Paterka's going to get dropped, and then I'll grab him for the Wednesday and Saturday. It's not too bad if I get someone else going for the Monday and or the Tuesday. So yeah, sometimes the strategy is not to stream, which sounds like sacrilege on an episode of Match and Maximize. But okay, hope you liked this episode. I'll now start prepping for the mega show, which Brian and I will be recording in less than 3 hours. So look forward to that on your feed as well. Then you'll have a couple short shifts and then more Match and Maximizer, more mega shows. Just make sure to subscribe to Keeping Karlsson to get all of our content as we barrel towards the Olympic break. A lot of really high impact fantasy matchups right now because, like I said, the playoffs are a lot closer than we may realize. So good luck, and we'll see you at the mega show.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.